Alright, so in between now and my last video, I took some time to watch some Colin Cowherd videos because I like to get his opinion. And stack mine up against it. But this is for the week 14 pick, so we're going to do that first. And then we're going to talk about what Cowherd said. Because he already put out that crazy accusation about the league MVP, which is total freaking nonsense. I can't believe he actually said that. I rewinded it twice just to make sure. His lips are just glued to Andrew Luck's ass, apparently. Which, by the way, is not that great. Anyways, moving on to Week 14 picks real quick. Thursday night, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans have won the past 3 games that I can see here, maybe even more. I'm taking the Titans because they're at home. Let's see. Jets at the Bills. Who cares? Really, who cares? I'm taking the Bills. Screw it. Giants at Redskins. I'm taking the Giants. Saints at the Buccaneers. Saints. Patriots at the Dolphins. The Patriots have a hard time playing in Miami. They really do. I mean, they lost to Jay Cutler last year, convincingly. What was the score to that game? Oh no, never mind. They only lost by 7. They made it close at the end of the game. They have a tendency to blow them out in Foxborough, but it's always close in Miami. I'm still taking the Patriots, although I'd love for the Dolphins to win this game. The Dolphins are playing like shit. But it would be amazing to see them win this game. Ravens at Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs because they haven't lost a game at Arrowhead this year, and I'll be surprised if they do. I don't care if they're playing the Chargers. I don't care if they're playing the Ravens. I mean, it's, the Chargers won that game last night. I mean, credit due to them. They came back. I didn't think they would. I didn't even think they would get close. So credit due to them on that part. But coaching was horrendous. Coaching was horrendous. You get 2 offsides. 3, technically. They just didn't call the third one because he made it anyways. You get 1 that's blocked because you were offsides. But then again, I'm not too sure if it wasn't a guy that wasn't offsides that blocked it. And the first one, he just missed it. And they were offsides. They didn't have a timeout. They was trying to pull a fast one, and it didn't work. Ben Roethlisberger threw one of the worst interceptions of his entire career right there before halftime, and that's where it all fell apart. Big Ben couldn't move the ball. I think he got 3 first downs the entire second half. That's like some Alex Smith shit. Or not the second half, but the fourth quarter. Something like that, yeah. Because they did score once in the something. I don't know. Either way, they didn't move the ball worth of crap. They got 7 points out of it all night in the second half. The Chargers cannot beat Kansas City. They've lost the last 8 meetings to them. They especially can't beat them in Arrowhead. And until the Chargers prove me wrong, which it's very possible, the Chargers have just as good chances winning as we do. Maybe even a little bit better because they're playing hotter. But they have no Melvin Gordon. Eckler is not Melvin Gordon. I get it. We don't have Kareem Hunt, but it's a plug-and-play league. I mean, we put Spencer Ware in there. He's been in the system for how long? We don't have, guess what? We scored 40 points with Kareem Hunt. We scored 40 points without him. It's anecdotal. We scored 40 without him. So you tell me if he really affected our offense yesterday. And until the Chargers prove me wrong, they cannot win in Kansas City. And they can't beat AFC West teams. They can't do it. They swept the Raiders. Woo! They swept the Raiders. Denver, they played them once. They lost to them. Kansas City, they played against us at the beginning of the season. Lost that game too. And which, by the way, Kareem Hunt had barely any involvement in that game, but nothing was said about that. So that's that. Baltimore's coming to Kansas City. Lamar Jackson is young. He's got great footwork. He can throw the ball. I think he's going to put up a hell of a fight. But at the end of the day, we got the experience. We got the defensive turnovers. Which, yes, they do have a way to cause turnovers. Baltimore's good at doing that. But Is Lamar Jackson really going to be able to pass it well enough to keep up with Patrick Mahomes? I doubt it. I doubt it. I think Kansas City causes a few turnovers, gets way the hell ahead again, and then maybe they creep back in it. It seems like playing at home, our defense is a hell of a lot better than what they were before. We're getting Eric Berry back. The IR held on to him for a week. That's why he didn't play against Oakland. But I'm pretty sure he's playing this week. There shouldn't be any reason why he's not playing this week. We need him for this game. Got the Texans. Garbage. What do you expect? I got the Texans. Falcons at Packers. I got the Falcons. Panthers at the Browns. I got the Panthers, even though they're complete shit. Baker Mayfield might surprise us. But I'm gonna trust the Panthers again. Broncos at 49ers. Come on, man. Broncos are gonna dominate the 49ers. Bengals at Chargers. I got the Chargers. They're playing hot football. They just came off of a good win. Of course, I'm gonna root for the Bengals, but I'm pretty sure the Chargers have this one. Lions at Cardinals. I got the Lions. Whatever. Steelers at Raiders. Steelers. We were up on the Raiders 33-6 at one point. This defense, after coming off of that loss, 174-0-1 at home ahead in the fourth quarter by that many points, 16 or more, something like that, and they blow that game, they're going to play pissed off in this game. And Oakland's probably going to get mopped. Eagles at Cowboys. Yeah, I got the Cowboys. And it's not because they beat the Saints. It's just for the fact they're more rounded off than Philadelphia is. Philadelphia, even with that win tonight, looks sloppy as hell. Rams at the Bears. Man, Mitchell Trubisky really needs to play this game. The Bears are a true defense, and they're going to test the Rams. The Rams sputtered pretty early against the Lions. Put it together. The Rams still won 30-6. I got the Rams. I think they're just a better team. The Bears are not a bad team by any means, but I got the Rams by 10. Even in Chicago. Vikings at Seahawks. I got the Seahawks, man. They're hot. So with that being said, let's go back to what Cowherd said. Okay. He said that Kansas City has a brutal schedule coming up and that New England's just going to win out the AFC like they always do because they're consistent. Look, the Chargers helped out the Patriots by giving them that 2 seed last night. He said, Phillip Rivers is 0 for 7 in his career. Ben Roethlisberger is like 2-8, and Patrick Mahomes is 0-1, and he threw in Andrew Luck, of course. Andrew Luck is 0-6. Andrew Luck ain't even going to be there. Why even say that? Andrew Luck's going to be nowhere close to the playoff race. Not with the way they played last night. So Andrew Luck, throw that shit out the window. No one cares about that. No one cares how good he is against Tom Brady. He lost by 10 in Foxborough. The Texans lost by 7 in Foxborough, made mistakes. Kansas City lost by 3 in Foxborough, made mistakes. If these mistakes are fixed, they can win in Foxborough. Yes, the Patriots are playing consistent, but they're not scoring near as many points as what they were before. What are they looking at facing? High-octane offenses. Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Houston. All 3 of them, high-octane offenses. If you're telling me that those teams don't have a shot going there, you're out of your mind. Of course they have a shot going there. Are they going to win? Maybe not, but they definitely have a shot. I think Pittsburgh's probably on the lower totem pole of that. But as of right now, they got a 2nd seed. Okay, so you got a 2nd seed. That doesn't mean you're going to have it at the end of the year. You can't sit here and tell me, well, it's going to run through New England. You can't tell me that. Yeah, New England's got an easy second half or last 4 games. They do. They do. The only challenge is Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh beats New England, well, it kind of jacks them up unless Kansas City loses too. Because guess what? That's gonna catapult Houston into that 2nd seed. Because Houston ain't gonna lose. Look at their schedule. They got who does Houston have? Let's look this up. This might be a long video, but I don't care. Houston, let's look at who they have left. This is who they have left. They have the 6-6 Colts at home. Texans are at home. Then they got to go to New York to face the 3-9 Jets. Then they got to face the 6-6 Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. And then they're at home for the 4-8 Jaguars. You're telling me that any of those teams are going to derail the Texans right now with the way they're playing? No. 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 Maybe these divisional games, because they're trap games, which would be more the Colts than anybody else. But the Eagles, the Jets, and the Jaguars, come on, man. They're not going to lose those games. They're gonna win out, and they're going to be 13-3, in my opinion. And if they're 13-3 and New England loses a game, that catapults them into the second seed. And if we lose a couple games, it could jack everything up too. This Pittsburgh game is huge. It's huge. Because if New England loses that game, wow, they're in a hole. So let's look at Kansas City's schedule, because he said Kansas City's schedule is brutal. Okay. So let's see. We got the Ravens, who beat the Broncos 21-0, or something like that. 27-14. That's what it was. They beat the Raiders 37-17 or something like that. So we got the Ravens, but they got to come to Arrowhead. Chargers got to come to Arrowhead. That's the biggest challenge right there. That could be, if we win that game, AFC West belongs at Kansas City. And that ultimately keeps the Chargers from, jumping ahead of us. But we play those two at home. You know how deadly Kansas City is at home. On the road, a little bit different. Here's probably a really big challenge. December 23rd, we're going to Seattle on prime time. Okay, here's why this is a big trap game. Seattle's playing hot, and they play even better at home. Russell Wilson is probably, since week 3, the best quarterback in the league. And I do mean that. Passer rating out of this world. TDs to INTs out of this world. Yardage out of the world. That game right there against the Seattle Seahawks could be a trap game. We're going to Seattle. They're playing hot. Trust me, it could be a loss. And then we got the Raiders on the last game of the season at Arrowhead. The last 3 out of the 4 games are at Arrowhead. We played pretty decent on the road, but we play even better at home. Unless, if you're going to sit here and tell me that Patty Mahomes can make 2 big mistakes against New England and come out of New England with a 3-point loss, and make 3 massive mistakes, which one being a pick 6, against LA and walk out with a 3-point loss, and you're going to sit there and tell me that these teams are going to come to Arrowhead where he makes virtually no mistakes, and if he does, the defense compensates for it, and they're going to come in and just mop the floor with Patrick Mahomes. You are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. Like I said, the Seattle game, I could understand. They play tough in Seattle. They do. And the Chargers are going to be a hard one because they're playing good ball. But you know what? They haven't been able to win at Arrowhead since like 2012. Neither has Oakland. They haven't won a game against Kansas City in general since the past 8 meetings. Which would be what? 2014, 2015, something like that? And the Ravens, the last time we played the Ravens, we beat them 35-0 in Baltimore. Now, of course, that was 3 or 4 years ago. But guess who gashed them? Spencer Ware. Spencer Ware tore that team apart. Tore that team apart. Spencer Ware picked the Ravens apart that game. Probably the biggest chance of us losing is the Chargers. I will admit that. They are the more rounded off out of all these teams. Seattle has their kinks in the road. Oakland is just Oakland. That's a trap game. But every time they come to Arrowhead, they get their ass blown out. So, and Baltimore's got a young quarterback too, and he doesn't react very well under pressure. The Falcons proved that. Even the Falcons got close. And what really killed the Falcons was they had a fumble that got returned for a touchdown. That's what really put the Falcons down. So the Ravens are beatable. The Chargers, that game could go either way. I'm not even going to lie about it. If we win by 10 points, I would honestly be surprised. If they actually won that game, I kind of wouldn't be surprised. I would in a sense because the way we play at Arrowhead and the way their record has been against us, but at the same time, they're not the same team that they was before. So they could win that game, and the game in Seattle is a tough one. But the schedule being brutal, I mean, come on. It's probably harder than the rest of them, I'll be honest. But look at Pittsburgh. They got the Patriots and the Saints down the stretch. And they're playing the Saints in the Dome. Yeah, good luck. So let's look at what he's saying. Okay, so the Patriots. The Patriots, okay. We know the Texans aren't going to lose. If they do, I'll be surprised. So the Patriots got at Miami, at Pittsburgh, and then they're at home for Buffalo and the New York Jets. So they're definitely winning their last two. These two first games here are trap games. Trap games. Miami always plays them hard. Miami, it's possible Miami could win. And they're going to Pittsburgh against a very pissed off Pittsburgh team. The reason I say that is because they were 174-0-1 in the fourth quarter when leading by 16 points, and they lost to the Chargers. That team is going to be absolutely pissed. If they derail the Patriots here, think about what that does. Let's go to the playoff picture. Let's say New England goes to Pittsburgh and they lose, right? Let's say that they go there and lose. So they go there, they lose to the Patriots, or the Patriots go to Pittsburgh and lose. That's going to knock them down. The Texans win out, they take that second seed. So now you got the Patriots sitting in the third seed. You got Houston sitting in the second seed. Let's say we do lose a game, right? The Patriots are still going to end up 12-4. Kansas City's going to end up 13-3, and Houston's going to be 13-3. But the problem here is the teams that we played between us and Houston, well, they beat Cleveland, we beat Cleveland. They lost to New England, we lost to New England. The only difference is we lost by 3, they lost by 7. So, I don't know what kind of difference maker that's going to make. I don't know how that would put the Texans in the number 1 seed. I don't know. Maybe it comes down to divisional wins and losses. I don't know. That would mean that the Chargers, let's say the Chargers, hell, I don't know. Let's say they have one loss. See, that mixes everything up if the Patriots lose. But even if we lose one, say we lose to the Chargers, right? We lose to the Chargers. Well, even if we lose to the Chargers, they still got to expect Oakland to beat us to win the division. And they still got to go to Denver and win. And they didn't even beat Denver in LA. Denver's a tough team at home. For the Chargers to win this division it's like that, dude. All the odds are against them. And I'm not saying it's impossible. Hell, Oakland could come there and knock us off and 2 divisional losses, and there you go. But the odds of them beating us and Denver, the 2 teams that already beat them in the division, and then to hope to God that Oakland knocks us off in the last game of the season at Arrowhead is absurd. Not saying it can't happen, but it's very slim. It's very slim. So that would put what? The Patriots playing the Ravens in Foxborough. And that would put, the Chargers playing the Steelers. I don't think that one's going to change. It possibly could, though. I'm not sure how all that works. But that's just some of the scenarios. But sitting there saying that New England is definitely going to have the A1 ride, dude, come on, man. Really? You're going to sit there and say that's a guaranteed thing? They got to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's PO'd, man. They're pissed. They're mad. Well, Kansas City played them when they got pissed off after losing to Philadelphia 34-3 2 years ago. Look where that got us. So unless somebody can derail Kansas City off that top seed, unless Kansas City loses 2 games down the stretch, it's slim. It's very, very, very slim. The 2 teams that are most likely to beat us, the Seahawks and the Chargers. One of those games are being played at home, and one of those teams can't really beat us. He threw out the fact, the Chargers, Phillip Rivers, he's 0-8 against Brady. Didn't the Chargers beat the Patriots one year in the playoffs? I could have swore they did. Anyways, when they had LT, I thought they did. I don't know. I could be wrong. But Phillip Rivers is 0-8 against Kansas City in the past 8 meetings. So you're contradicting yourself. So if you're expecting the Chargers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, well, why the hell are you saying New England's guaranteed to get a first seed then? That's my question. So, if Kansas City wins out, it's a wrap, dude. Number 1 seed. All these teams have one more loss than us, at least. Some of them have more. If we lose a game, Tennessee and Houston better win out. I guess. But see, even if we tie records with Houston, where's the determination on how that works? Because we could probably tie with Houston and still get the number 1 seed. It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. So, in my opinion, unless we lose 2 games down the stretch, that number 1 seed is ours. So Colin Cowherd is basically saying, yeah, they'll lose 2 games down the stretch. Guaranteed. So let's look at Houston. Where are they at? Here they are. Oh, they're gonna go by divisional wins and losses. That's what they're gonna do. Conference wins and losses. Sorry. So they're 7-2 in the AFC conference. We're 8-1. So and all of our teams are AFC except for Seattle. So I guess if we lose to Seattle, it wouldn't really matter. Non-conference, Houston is 2-1. So yeah, it would matter because we'd have to finish 2-1 in the non-conference because then they'd switch over to the non-conference or something. But right now we have one more conference win than Houston does. We could hope that one of these AFC South teams knocks them off, like the Colts or the Jaguars. That would help us out. But I'm telling you right now, expecting Kansas City to lose 2 games down the stretch the way that they're playing. Oh, but they don't have Kareem Hunt. Yeah, he was a great player. I'm sorry, did Spencer Ware not do something that Kareem Hunt doesn't? He didn't catch out of the backfield. We didn't need him to. Again, 40 points with Kareem Hunt, 40 points without him. Yeah, he's a great threat. I get it. Spencer Ware has played the Patriots before. And it was in Foxborough when we lost by 7. But I'm telling you right now, one player, running backs do not win Super Bowls. O.J. Simpson didn't get one for the Bills, and Barry Sanders did not get one for the Lions. And I get it. He didn't have shit around him. I understand that. But listen to what I'm trying to say. Great running backs do not win Super Bowls. He had a lot of talent around him. He was a really good player. had a lot of talent around him. He had Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey. He had the best tight end. He has one of the best receivers. And we're getting Eric Berry back. I'm telling you, keep your eyes open. Just saying.